This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
You've heard them advertised. You've heard them talked about. A lot of people claim that they offer them. And there's a lot of mystique around these things.
Yeah.
Guaranteed offers. What does that look like? You've probably seen the billboards.
I've probably seen a YouTube ad almost every single day offering a cash offer. I want to buy your home. I want to buy your home. You probably don't think that your home is sellable, but that's not true. I want to buy your home. I hear that on a regular basis.
Yep. And so I kind of get a little fired up about this because what most people don't realize is that those offers are generally for people who are in a desperate situation.
Absolutely. And that's what it seems like it is to me. It's like, hey, you're obviously appealing to people that are desperate who don't think that their house is just in such disrepair that nobody would ever want to buy their home. But you know what? I want to buy your home.
Well, it's not necessarily that. So for example, we've done guaranteed offers where people were germaphobes and they just didn't want people in the house.
Sure.
We've done it for law enforcement where they just wanted complete discretion and privacy. We've done it for people who are going through family situations and just want it done as quickly as possible, as simply as possible. But oftentimes too, it is like for the people going through foreclosure, the people whose house doesn't qualify for a traditional loan, right? Because it's in such a state of disrepair, hoarder houses, things like that. So it's not for everybody,
right? How do you differ from those people on the commercials who say, "I want to buy your home"?
The way we differ is we offer a guaranteed offer. Okay, and whether it's an instant offer, guaranteed offer, whether it's somebody saying they want to buy your home, it's that person. This isn't us. This is everybody else. What everybody else does is that what they're trying to do is they're trying to buy your house at a discount so they can fix it up and then sell it.
Yeah.
Or what they will do is they will get it under contract. It's called wholesaling. They will get it under contract. So let's say your house is worth ballpark. What do you think your house is worth?
Oh, I have no idea.
Let's say your house is worth. You're a successful radio personality. So let's say your house is worth $1 million.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So $1 million. That's what it would appraise for. Okay. So $1 million is like aftermarket repair, like in its current, we're just gonna say $1 million in its current state. If you put a pool in or you did some extra, not a pool, if you fixed up the kitchen, maybe painted the house, maybe did some work, you might be able to stretch that value up to 1.1, 1.2, right? So it's just a regular run-of-the-mill house, $1 million bucks. Then what an investor is going to do is they have to then buy the house from you, and they're going to pay the fees, so there's expenses there. Then they're going to have to sell the house, right? Because there's expenses there.
Sure.
And then they have to put the money into the home to make it better than brand new. So there's expenses there.
Yeah.
All those expenses come out. You're looking somewhere for your $1 million house, somewhere around $700,000, maybe $780,000 compared to in your pocket, compared to $920,000 with traditional sale.
Yeah.
So that's a significant haircut. Right? But here's where it gets even more dirty, is that some of these people say they're going to buy your house. They have no intention of buying your house.
Really?
They're going to offer $650,000 on a house to use the previous example.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get into a contract, say, I'll close on this in 15 days or 20 days or 30 days or however long it is. And what they're going to do is it's called wholesaling. That is where they then assign the contract. So they have it locked up for $650,000. They're going to sell it to that investor for $700,000. They will pocket the $50,000, and then the investor will be the one that actually buys your house for $700,000.
Wow, interesting.
And so that's called wholesaling. So when you see a lot of people advertising, it's one of the two. It's either the investor taking down the property themselves, or, and more commonly, it's the wholesaler. And so what the wholesaler is doing is they're buying your house at a discounted rate.
Sure.
Making some money. They're not doing anything to the property. They're just selling the contract.
They don't have to disclose that?
No. Because they don't have to be a licensed realtor to do that. Those are not typically licensed agents that do that. Most real estate companies don't allow you to wholesale. And so, but the thing that makes us different is that when you come to us, I am not personally buying your property. I personally will not double end a property. I will not represent both the buyer and the seller. I'll have somebody else in my company do it, but I will not represent you, Matt, the seller, and Matt's buyer. I will not do it. because it's like hiring the same divorce attorney for both parties. It just
Right.
never works out, right? So what we do is we have a network of over 100 investors, vetted people. These aren't wholesalers. And what we will do is we will then syndicate your house out to all of them off market, say, hey, we got this great property. So it's very discreet, very quick, and we can get you typically multiple offers. And so then that's the difference. So then I'm representing you throughout the entire process. I'm not representing myself. A lot of these people you hear on the radio or television, they're representing themselves. They want to buy your house at a discount, so then they can make a profit. And there's nothing wrong with profit, but that's the main difference. Those people are representing themselves. I'm representing you, the client, and I'm getting you multiple offers. Those other people, open door, they're only going to tell you what they're willing to pay. They're only going to give you their offer. I can get you Open Door's offer as well as a host of other properties, a host of other investors, local and institutional. So that way you can have your pick of the litter, so to speak. So that's the difference between our guaranteed offer and just about every other guaranteed offer.
That
on the
makes
market.
sense. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who are not educated and they are vulnerable, and they're watching these ads
Yeah.
or getting these letters in the mail. Hey, I want to buy your house right now. And it looks very appealing. And they fall for it, and that's a shame. That's a shame that people aren't more educated and understand how the process and the system works.
Yeah.
And that there's people on there taking advantage of that.
There is, and sometimes I don't want to give everybody like a bad
Right.
impression, but like there's a distinct difference when I
But
am getting
I don't know.
paid only if your house sells at a price that you agree to, versus I'm going to tell you what I think your house is worth. I'm not licensed, and by the way, I'm going to profit off purchasing this home, and I'm going to sell it to somebody else for more money.
Right, and they don't live in the state, and they're this big company that lives. Who knows if they're even in the United States
Yeah.
doing these things, and so
Yeah. So investors are fine. Wholesalers really irritate me because I don't think the consumer knows what's happening. It's called a double close is one way that the escrow companies can do
Yeah.
it. Most escrow companies will not do it. There's one, maybe two companies I know of off the top of my head that's where all the investors send their deals.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
how the double close works is you have the original contract, then you have the assigned version of that contract, transferring that contract to the investor who's actually going to purchase the property.
yeah,
And so what they do is they basically close on both at the same time, right? Do like a back-to-back deal. So it's just shuffling paperwork around, but essentially, the seller doesn't realize who actually bought the house
right,
or what they really paid for the house.
yeah.
So I'm honestly surprised it's still allowed in California, but it is. So if you want a guaranteed offer on your home or guaranteed offers, right, from our network of over 100 vetted investors, then go to madeformorerealty.com, and we're happy to go out and meet with you, give you an idea of what your house is realistically worth, and so that way you're not getting taken advantage of by somebody.
Right. And again, like you said, this is for folks that want it to be simple, easy, get it done, right? They don't
Yeah.
want to do open houses. Maybe they don't want to do staging or organizing all of their houses. Maybe they've got some repairs on their home that they're not interested in taking the time or spending the money to do.
Yeah.
They just, I know a lot of different people who has a family member that's sick and they have to just be done and they're focused on taking care of that person and they need to just make a quick transition to a different living space.
Yeah.
And they don't have time to do all of this stuff and they just want something simple and easy, but still, not get gouged or taken
Yeah.
advantage of. They still want a good offer on their home.
So what I'll say too is that a lot of those people you hear on television or on radio, they have significant budgets, right? And so their margins have to be different than the investor who is going to go in there, buy the property himself, and maybe fix it up with his family and then sell it.
Right.
So the margins are different. And so, for example, we recently helped this gentleman. It was his first house. He lived in it forever. Then he turned it into a rental, and the renters destroyed it. And he was just done. He'd owned it for like free and clear for like 20 years, and he just didn't want to deal with it. And so we came out, got him a cash offer, closed in 10 days. Easy, right? He was totally happy. Now that property's back on the market. It looks like a shiny penny. It's been totally updated, new kitchen. It's going to go to a family, and they're going to get a great loan, and the house will continue to provide clean, fair housing for people.
Right.
We recently helped somebody else. We're actually in the process. We have an off-market one in the Fab 40s.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this gentleman has owned it since the 90s.
Yeah.
Never lived in it. Like very briefly.
Oh, really?
Very briefly lived in it. It's just been sitting there vacant.
Oh, wow.
For
He never
decades.
rented it out?
Nope. And so he's just, hey, you know
Even
what?
during the holiday
He's 90,
season? Did he
he's 90
decorate it
years
for
old.
Christmas during the... Oh, he's 90 years old.
He's 90 and his wife's about his age, and they're just they have other real estate.
Oh,
And so
okay.
they're like, you know what? Let's just get it sold.
Bummer.
And
Yeah.
so we got him multiple offers, and he's negotiating with one of them, and we'll go from there. And so it's not necessarily. I don't want you to think taking advantage of people. People just want to hit the easy button. They don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the difference between us and other people, is that he had multiple offers. He had multiple options to choose from. He negotiated with different ones, and then he's picking the one that works best for him. And let's say you go the guaranteed option route and you decide, hey, I don't like any of these offers. You know what? I've decided it might be better to go on the market. We can totally do that. So then we just run our program, and get your house. We will have a professional photographer go out there and take cutting edge photos of your home, or depending if it's still kind of messy or if it's in a state of disrepair, maybe we just take a photo of the front of the house, and then we let investors and people know on the MLS, hey, it's a handyman special.
I think that's what people appreciate. They want to be educated, be informed as much as possible, because it takes away that anxiety and that stress. Because when you feel like you don't know what's going on and you're out of the loop, and you're afraid that somebody's taking advantage of you, right? And I think you alleviate a lot of that when you go in there and you educate folks and you give them all these different options and you give them power and choice. I think people appreciate that. That's why working with you, when you educate and provide people with options and freedom, that's what I think they appreciate.
So it comes down to choices. We give you choices, we educate you, and then we let you pick the best decision for you. I'm not tied to the outcome. I sell a house on average every 3 days.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm not a good fit for you, or if this situation isn't a good fit for you, that's fine. But if it is, here's all these different programs we can provide you with, and let's pick one that works best for you and your family, and help you make a smooth move.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn more, if you want to have options, if you want to be educated, if you don't want to be pressured into making a decision, because we're a zero pressure company, just go to madeformorerealty.com. That's madeformorerealty.com. We'd be happy to do a pre-planning session with you.
And if you're a home buyer, and you're thinking, well, the interest rates are too high, I don't know if I can afford it. You guys have lots of options and tools that they can take advantage of to get into that first new home.
So many tools. So some of them include, like, we have probably the largest off-market inventory list in the Sacramento region. If you're just looking at what's on the market, you're shopping leftovers. Right?
Yeah.
And so we can get you into homes before anybody else. We also have an algorithm that we came up with that helps us identify motivated sellers. So if you're wanting to get a deal on a home, we can identify what those properties would be. We send you out a deal of the week every single week in your neighborhood. So if you're looking at a specific community, hey, this right now is the best option in that community. We send that to you. So if you want any of those options, again, just go to madeformorerealty.com, reach out. We're happy to help.